Alright guys, welcome back to the Marvel Snap video. So today, we're going to start a kind of a new series on this channel where we basically go over and make cards that need to come to Marvel Snap. Starting off, basically episode 1 here with a little bit of a theme. And we'll probably lead a little bit more into that with episode 2 a little bit, where we get evil versions of characters. And since most of them, I think some of them, if not all of them, haven't yet been a variant in the game, it likely means they're going to be doing a remake of those characters, or I guess not even a remake, just an actual release of those evil versions of the characters in the future, and you could even possibly do it for one whole season. The 5 cards we have today are the Maker, Malice, Dark Gwenpool, Superior Iron Man, Superior Spider-Man, and also Dark Beast. I already have the lineup for the next one we'll be doing. Once again, keep it towards that same theme, but that's not to say we're going to do that for every single episode, or that every episode is going to have a theme in itself. It's just, I thought this would be a really good one, because the Maker, starting off with the first one, is probably the card I want the most in the game, since we are a fantastic main on Marvel Rival. Before we get into towards that, if you enjoyed this type of video, and you will see more from me in terms of Marvel Snap content, then of course subscribe. We are like 280 subs away from 1K subscribers, which you are trying to hit. Literally like 90% of you lot watching right now aren't subscribed. So if you want to see more, then of course subscribe. So starting off with the first card we have is the Maker. Now, if you lot didn't see my last type of video, we kind of did this little bit where we tried predicting the Fantastic Four season that got leaked. This is what we did for the new Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, right? And I kind of based a little bit of how Marvel Rivals works, where you're able to pull one card, pull another card, and slam it together. And I kind of like the idea of stretchy characters kind of going onto the other side of the board and messing around, whether that be clogging or displacement. So we kind of done the same thing here. So what he does do, he is going to be a 5/8 on reveal, swap the lowest power card here with the enemy's lowest power card. So you are going to be taking one of their cards and then taking your card and just switching places. So it's kind of like arguably a better version of Viper, because imagine Viper sends over a hood, but then she also steals a card. That is essentially what you're doing. However, the difference is that if they are fully clogged up, then you can still do the ability because you are still swapping. So there's 2 things that I thought of, even though I know right now they're not the greatest. I don't know how this card will actually work, but my idea a little bit is if you played the Sentry on turn 4, at least back in the Nihilist meta and the Nihilist days, people were accustomed to filling up that right far location because they knew you were going to send the Void over. Well, now you have a little bit of counterplay towards that, once again, if they are accustomed towards it and they make this type of deck a little bit better, to where you can just send the Void over and also steal one of their cards. Also, because it is the lowest, it can literally steal a massive card if they only have one card in that location. You can even send plus power or even 0 power cards over towards that board. So there's like a little bit of uniqueness towards it. And I guess what you could do is, I think that might actually work and might bring Electro back into meta, is you play Electro on 3, then on turn 4 you can play the Maker, send over the actual Electro, and also steal one of their cards, and also limit them to only playing one card, right? And since it is like a big villain, I wanted him to have like a big body, so a 5/8 I think is reasonable. But yeah, would this actually work in the game? Maybe a little bit. Would it be top tier meta? Probably not. But like I did say, I kind of do like the idea of the stretchy characters being able to mess around and interact with the other side of the board, since, well, them reaching over and doing stuff seems quite reasonable. And especially for the Maker, I think I want him to a little bit to be a toxic card. Kind of like how obviously we have Dr. Octopus, where he pulls a card down because he's an evil character. He's quite annoying, and he can stretch over towards not only your opponent's side, but your opponent's actual cards in his hand, right? So yeah, that is the Maker 5/8. Also, this is the only one I kind of did it for because I really do like this card. I put some effort into making the actual text look a little bit unique. Okay, so if they're ever going to do the Maker, I think especially after Marvel Rivals, they have to do the Malice, right? Now, granted, I did use the artwork from obviously Rival, which is because her other artworks, at least, because she wasn't a popular character, right? I think now she's a little bit popular because of the Marvel Rival skin, but like there's like no good screenshots that I can use of her, so I just thought I'd take her. So we probably won't get this design. It might be themed around Marvel Rivals if they do like a part 2 collaboration, or they can base it off the old one. Doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, this ability is one that a lot of people have been asking for, and I wanted to bring it to the topic a little bit. So how would he handle this in the game? So on reveal, destroy an enemy 2-cost card here, which is, it could target Scream, it could target Sam Wilson, it could target, obviously, I guess, Iron Patriot if you play it on 3. But I think it would have to be a 3-cost, because you normally ideally want to do it on turn 3 after they play their 2-cost card. But would this be too broken? I think, if anything, if they added to the game, it'd definitely be a must include. So I think they might have to balance it a little bit by making it like a lower power. Because if it's 3-1, would it be worth playing? If it's a high power screen, probably. And with how tall some 2-cost go, especially screen where you can get over like 10 power, then this could act like a Shang-Chi in like the final turn to like kind of destroy that card a little bit. But the damage might be done by then. But yeah, Malice, I mean, you can give her any other ability, but I did want to bring that topic up. But about a card that could destroy a 2-cost card. So let me know if you think they're ever going to do that in the game. Or whatever Malice could do, because I think she has like psychic powers in some way. All right, next one. My favorite one that I really want to come towards the game is Dark Gwenpool. Now, it's the one from like the original run of the comics. I think there is a new one now with the Gwen Stacy one. So I guess there's like 2 other versions to do of her. Who actually knows? But I kind of wanted to make her a little bit similar towards Jeff. Now, granted, Dark version of Gwen probably is the furthest away from Jeff. But I did think Gwenpool, before the card actually came out, would probably work a little bit similar towards, obviously, Jeff. In fact, I think Gwenpool probably should have had Jeff's ability because of how the character actually is, to where she can jump between actual, you know, different pages of the comics, which makes sense a little bit with how Jeff works, where you can jump around the board and nothing can stop him. So we kind of made it a little bit of a buffed up version, being 2-4, obviously different from 2-3. However, you're only able to move this card if you're losing dislocation. 2-4 is good stat line, so if you're winning, you're happy anyway, but you can kind of leave on like a location you're gonna kind of throw and then move on like the final turns, or you can commit to it and you already got a pretty good body. Now, at least the way I worded the card, it's not limited just once, so you could possibly move it every single turn. Maybe activate your Hydra Stomper coming out sometime soon. But that'd be kind of hard to pull off though, because you got to be losing every single location, and then at that point, what you're doing throughout the whole match. But yeah, this is probably by far the simplest version of the card we have today. So going to the next one, we have Superior Iron Man. And okay, so I wanted to keep it in the same theme of doubling something. And I will admit, this might be too broken because this will essentially giga buff Cerebro. But you know what? We're making a video here. We want to make interesting cards. And to be honest, if I made really bad cards, you probably wouldn't care, right? But yeah, 6-5. So literally the final turn of the game, which is good because you actually can play Cerebro and also Mystique on turn 5 now because they kind of buffed them up a while ago, which means on turn 6 you can then just play this card. It is a 5-cost though, so you do have to probably more likely do Cerebro 5, which I think is probably the best version of the deck. I think, I'm not entirely too sure. But yeah, ongoing 6-5 doubles the cards with the same power as this. Just a full board buff. Would that make Cerebro competitive? It could, you know, because if you think about it, one card is like worth like 5 to 9, and you're doubling that to 18 per card. It might be kind of broken. I don't know. I will say my other thought that I was going to do was like a 4-5 where it doubles, like how we have obviously American Chavez, where he'll have like an on reveal that the next card you draw will double its power. That is what he could do to kind of keep it in the same theme of like buffing up or doubling with Iron Man. However, you don't have that much agency because it's the next card you draw. But I think that could be an ability. So if this is too broken, you think, then yeah, I guess that could be the other ability. All right, next card is the Superior Spider-Man. Now, you might think this might be too similar towards the original Spider-Man, and it kind of is, but it's on a bigger body, and also it has some synergy with your own card. So, what is it? On reveal, move the highest power, friendly, and also enemy card here to the right. So you have a lot of agency. It's basically like a better steg run. It's more targeted because you can move the highest power card to the right, but you're also moving your highest power card. So my idea a little bit is in a move deck, because we do like move on this channel, and I also want more move cards in the game, and I also want a good 5-cost move card. That's one thing we're kind of missing a little bit, which I guess we'll get in a little bit of like, is it Helion? This card on screen where he's Cloak, but only for your team. But even then, I'd probably still rather use Cloak. But yeah, what he does do is he's going to move their highest card, so you're more likely to win the location he's in, but also move your highest card out, which hopefully by that point, by turn 5, you have a pretty big Human Torch, or you got a pretty big Vulture that can kind of mirror the actual big card you're moving out. Like I did say, it might be too similar towards our normal regular Spider-Man because you're moving a card out anyway, but it is targeted because it is a higher cost. It's not obviously 2 costs, and you're also moving your own card out rather than moving himself. But yeah, I mean, I think there could be like a lot of strategy with this, right? Because there's a fan fee card coming in the future where it moves, activate by the way, moves 2 cards or all cards from that location. So if you play a fan fee in the middle, have your big Vulture or Human Torch on like the left, Iron Fist into Human Torch on the left at some point in the game, or maybe even have Madam Web in the middle, and you then move all the way to the far left. He's now like at least like, what, 4 to 8 power. You play Fantasy in the middle, which once again activate, move all your other cards here to the right. And then you Superior Spider-Man on the left, moving Human Torch plus their big card towards the middle. He's now, what, 16 or even like 8 power. And then you then activate the Fanfi, moving it again all the way to the far right with Madam Web, because Madam Web was in the middle previously. Your Human Torch is now like 32 power, and you can still move it with Madam Web. And you move their big card out of the left lane, and you can probably win anywhere with Human Torch, right? Like, I think there's a lot of strategy you can do with this card. So I think the 5 cost warrants it, maybe. So yeah, I mean, a lot of rambling, but like I say, I use move a lot, right? So I have a lot to say about this card. All right, and then for the final card we have is Dark Beast. Now, I want to give him some synergy a little bit with the other beast, which is, yeah, as you can read, a 5/3. So once again, kind of one of the taller cards in that same category of like Gilgamesh. You have obviously the ongoing stuff with obviously Ronin, Devil Dino a little bit. So like I wanted it to be like the big payoff a little bit on turn 5 or turn 6, because of course, as you can see right now, it's ongoing plus 1 power for every card that returned to your hand. So it's a little bit different to Collector, because Collector also counts returned and also cards created, but also because this is ongoing, you can play late in the game. He's also 5 costs, so I think by far the best partner with the card will be Kitty Pryde, that will be able to activate him consistently through obviously the game, and you can still play Kitty Pryde on the final turn, on turn 6. But like I say, you have the bounce energy, so you have Falcon, you can return a bunch of cards with. You can also do beast stuff as well, so you're getting those buffs. You can Toxin as well. And even a new card that's coming out, I think in like 2 months' time, which is going to be Morgan Le Fay, I think it is, right? Where she's like a 4/5 on reveal. Return all cards that you destroy to your hand and give them +3 power. I think most people are in agreement, like, what the hell is this card for? So maybe that card will have some synergy a little bit with this one, but if you're trying to play like Black Swan and 3, you're not really getting much time to destroy stuff. Unless you'd like a Killmonger and then play her on turn 5 and then play this one on turn 4 to activate the Black Swan and go crazy with your 1-cost cards. I don't know. I can see this one being possible a little bit, right? But yeah, guys, that's going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you for watching. Have made it towards the end. And let me know what you think of these cards. Do you think any of these could be playable in game? Or are they all too broken? Or maybe like mid? Regardless, though, I'm actually really looking forward to the season. If they do a season based around like either version of characters, where we do like Dark Gwenpool, or the Timecode, or Malice, like I think that would be such a hype season. I know right now some people are a little bit indifferent towards getting new cards of different variants of characters, like Symbiote Spider-Man, like Rocket Groot, but I think those one made sense, and I think even right now these ones make sense as well, because they are completely different characters. And if you look at the new Fantastic Four season, like I did say, those are literally just the Fantastic Four, but the first step variants, which inherently there is no like difference. So if they're willing to make those cards, then I think they are willing to make these cards. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think of these cards, and also what they could do if you think my abilities were either too mid or too bad or too broken. I don't know, but yeah, thank you for watching, and yeah.